finally come for me to get out this what I've been working on for a very, very long time. It's the redress that I've put together, and it's time to share it with you all. So give me a second and we'll get to it. Okay, here we go. Declaration for redress. We, the sovereign people of the United League for the Commonwealth of America, in recognition of our inherent rights and obligations under Father God's supreme law, do hereby declare and affirm our sovereignty, independence, and the necessity for redress. When a long history of deception and corruption, perpetuated by de facto constitutions, acts, laws, regulations, and policies, seek to limit or remove our unalienable rights and reduce us to servitude, it is our duty to reclaim and reassert our sovereignty. This declaration stands as both an acknowledgement of these wrongs and the foundation for renewal. We affirm our allegiance is first and foremost to our Creator, Father God, who grants us our unalienable rights. No government, agency, or entity shall supersede this divine authority. Our right and duty to dissolve or reform any governing body or institution that undermines the principles of freedom, justice, and common law. Our commitment to uphold all laws that conform to God's law and to reject any that do not. Our resolve to establish a perpetual league of sovereign commonwealths under a republican government, securing the blessings of freedoms for ourselves and our posterity. To secure these rights and implement necessary reforms, we hereby present the following resolutions. 1. Restoration of a sovereign government. We, the sovereign people, demand that the people's government be returned to our power, of the people, by the people, for the people, as it was intended, free of corporate influence, styled as the Commonwealth of America. The central government will be a perpetual republican government with primarily external powers. Number 2, constitutional reforms to prevent corporate overreach. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. We require the following changes to the Constitution to prevent a corporate takeover of our government and ensure it remains a perpetual republican government. Number 3, rescind the Central Bank and Federal Reserve Act of 1913. The 1913 Act establishing the Federal Reserve is to be nullified and currency control returned to Congress and the sovereign people, backed by precious resources and tangible assets. We will allow a reasonable amount of time for this to be done. Number 4, repeal of color of law legislation. All laws, acts, statutes, and amendments that operate under the color of law are to be rescinded. Only laws in accordance with common law and with the principle of no harm to person or property shall be enforced. Number 5, a republican structure across all levels. Apologies again there. Number 5, republican structure across all levels. All commonwealths shall be structured as republics with republican governments in perpetuity, ensuring local governments and limited central government power. Number 6, a perpetual confederation. The Commonwealth of America will be a perpetual confederation, not a federation. And this is to maintain decentralized control. Number 7, limitations on law to protect individual rights. All laws must be based on harm, which is defined as intentional or unintentional damage, injury, or loss to individual or property. Number 8, time frame for implementation of resolutions. All elected officials must ensure resolutions are met within 180 days or extended by mutual agreements by the commonwealths. Number 9, conversion of states to commonwealths with a republican frame of government. All states will become commonwealths so that they can lawfully be admitted to the commonwealths of America and shall have a perpetual republican frame of government at each level. 10. Establishment of a republican centralized government. The preamble. We, the sovereign people of the United League for the Commonwealths of America, in order to frame a more proper and perpetual government, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of freedom for ourselves and prosperity, do approve, establish, and ordain this Constitution of the Commonwealth of America, aka also known as Commonwealth of America. The new centralized government will be a perpetual republican government, and each commonwealth may develop its own constitution in alignment with this one. There will be a perpetual confederation of commonwealths. A perpetual confederation of commonwealths of America is established and shall be maintained. Foundation of this new constitution is based on prior governing documents, to include the Articles of Confederation, the 1787 Constitution, and relevant parts of the 1871 Organic Act. And they will be used to inform this document. Resolution of purpose. This Constitution recognizes the sovereign power and rights of the people, granted by our Creator, Father God, to establish a government that operates by the consent of the governed. That is to serve the people, upholding our rights and freedoms without infringement or the imposition of external, corporate, or foreign interest. Be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Commonwealth in America, and Congress assembled, with 80% concurrence in both houses, that the following articles be proposed additions, and that amendments be proposed to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of America. Each article, once ratified by 80% of the legislatures of the Commonwealth, shall be effective and binding as a valid part of this Constitution. Articles as additions to and amendments of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of America are proposed by Congress in the spirit of continuity with the founding charter, ratified in 1787, and in adherence to Article 5 under the updated Constitution. These articles aim to advance the principles of governance, rights, protections, and mutual cooperation among the Commonwealths. Articles. Article 1. The style of this confederation shall be the United League of the Commonwealths of North America, aka Commonwealths of America. Section 1. All legislative powers shall reside with the Congress of Representatives, composed of representatives and senators chosen by the sovereign people of each commonwealth. The centralized government shall have limited authority to negotiate treaties of peace, treaties of commerce, etc., with individual countries, nations, kingdoms, etc., and enter Commonwealth commerce, provided that all treaties and commercial regulations require approval by a supermajority of the commonwealths. Disputes arising from treaties or commerce shall be resolved through a neutral mediation body established by the commonwealths. No commonwealth nor the centralized government shall ever have the authority to become a member of any international agency of any kind, to include, but not limited to, NATO, WHO, WEF, International Monetary Fund, etc. The commonwealths retain full sovereignty over all matters, with the central government serving only as a coordinating body for mutual interest. The centralized government may suggest, but not mandate, policies or regulations beyond its delegated powers. Amendments to this agreement may be proposed by any commonwealth or the central government, requiring the consent of 80% of the commonwealths to take effect. Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen by the individuals of each commonwealth. Representatives shall serve a term of 2 years. Commonwealths will provide a minimum of 1 representative, but no more than 4, elected by the people of each commonwealth, to the centralized government. I'm limiting it to 4 because our centralized government should only be dealing with foreign nations. And if we need more than a total of 300 people to do that, then something's wrong. Let's continue. Electors in each commonwealth must meet the qualifications required for electors of the most numerous branch of the commonwealth legislature. At a minimum, electors must be sovereigns of their commonwealth, have been inhabited in the commonwealth for at least 1 year prior to voting, and be at least 18 years of age. No person shall be a representative who has not attained the age of 25 years, been a sovereign of the commonwealth for at least 7 years, and when elected is an inhabitant of the commonwealth in which they shall be chosen. Representatives must have lived in their commonwealth for at least 7 years prior to their election. Any vacancy shall be filled through special elections within the commonwealth. Representatives shall disclose any potential conflicts of interest. They may not hold any other public office or have significant financial interests that could be affected by their legislative duties. Taxation and census procedures. Taxes shall be derived from sales of new products, which in each commonwealth at the rate of 13%, collected on a monthly basis. New products shall be defined uniformly by the Confederation to ensure consistent enforcement across all commonwealths. Of the taxes collected each month, 5% will be transferred to Treasury of the centralized governments, with payments occurring on a quarterly basis. Each commonwealth shall establish a centralized treasury. Said treasury will be where all collected taxes shall be deposited and from where all payments shall issue. Each commonwealth shall be responsible for conducting a census every 10 years, following guidelines established by the centralized government to ensure uniformity. Costs of the census, including the payment of the census workers and administrative fees, shall be covered by each commonwealth's treasury, funded by taxes collected within the commonwealth. In cases where the commonwealth is unable to fund the census, provisions may be made for financial assistance from the centralized government. Vacancy procedures. When vacancies occur in the House of Representatives or Senate from any commonwealth, the executive authority of the respective commonwealth shall issue writs of election within 10 days to fill such vacancies. Special elections must take place within 60 days of the vacancy. In the case of a Senate vacancy occurring during the recess of a commonwealth's legislature, the executive may make a temporary appointment, which shall last until the special election has been completed, at which point the elected individual shall fill the vacancies for the remainder of the term. The House of Representatives, which shall consist of no more than 4 from each commonwealth, shall choose their speaker and other officers. The classification and terms. The first assembly of the Senate, which shall consist of 2 from each of the commonwealths, elected for 6-year terms. Its members shall be divided as equally as possible into 3 classes. The terms of the first class shall expire after 2 years, the second class after 4 years, and the third class after 6 years, ensuring that 1/3 of the Senate is elected every 2 years. Temporary appointments to fill Senate vacancies shall last no longer than the next regular legislative session of the Commonwealth, at which time a new senator shall be elected. No person shall be senator who has not attained the age of 30 years, been a natural born sovereign of one of the Commonwealths of America, and been a sovereign of one or more Commonwealths for at least 12 years. Additionally, the senator must have been a continuous inhabitant of the Commonwealth they represent for the 7 years immediately preceding their election. The Vice President of the Commonwealth of America shall serve as President of the Senate, but shall not have a vote unless the Senate is equally divided. In the absence of the Vice President, a President pro tempore shall assume the role of presiding officer. The Vice President's tie-breaking vote applies only to legislation and matters of national significance. The Senate shall choose its officers, including a President pro tempore, by a majority vote at the beginning of each legislative session. The Senate shall choose its other officers, including a President pro tempore, by a majority vote at the beginning of each legislative session. The President pro tempore shall preside in the absence of the Vice President, or when the Vice President assumes the office of the President of the Commonwealth of America. The President pro tempore's responsibilities include managing Senate procedures and ensuring orderly conduct of business. Section 3. Representatives must be sovereigns of at least 25 years of age, an inhabitant of the Commonwealth they represent, and must have been a continuous inhabitant within that Commonwealth for no less than 7 years. The Senate of the Commonwealth of America shall compose of 2 senators from each Commonwealth, chosen by the sovereigns thereof through a majority vote for 6 years. Each senator shall have 1 vote. The Commonwealth legislature must fill any vacancies within 90 days of occurrence. Section 4. Congress shall convene annually, with each Commonwealth having a set number of representatives and senators elected to the centralized governments. Representatives at least 2, but no more than 4 unless otherwise amended by law. And 2 senators. Congress shall be vested with the power to self-regulate meeting times as long as it meets at least once monthly. Section 5. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each Commonwealth by the legislature thereof, provided that the election laws ensure fairness, equal access, and transparency. The Congress of each Commonwealth may at any time by common law make or alter such laws, except as to the places of choosing senators, provided that such changes are finalized no later than 6 months prior to the next election. The Congress of the Commonwealth of America shall assemble the day after taking their oath of office in January each year and take roll call. Meetings shall begin no later than 10 a.m. and shall not expire until the day's business is concluded or until 6 p.m., whichever is later, unless a different day and time is appointed by common law. In cases where business is unfinished, Congress may schedule additional sessions as needed to ensure all matters are addressed. A quorum consisting of a majority of the members must be present to conduct any business. Special sessions may be called in cases of emergency, and virtual attendance may be permitted, only when absolutely necessary. I forgot to put that in there. Section 6. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own individuals, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. A smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may compel the attendance of absent individuals through through penalties such as fines, suspension, or other disciplinary measures as provided by each house's rules. Disputes over elections or qualifications shall follow a clear process, with appeals available to an independent review body or judiciary. Each house may determine its rules of proceedings, which must be made public and updated regularly. Any amendments to rules must be voted on by a majority. Each house may punish its individuals for disorderly behavior and with the concurrence of two-thirds expel a member, provided the member is given a fair hearing and the opportunity to present a defense before expulsion is considered. Grounds for expulsion must be based on established violations of law or house rules. Excuse me, I apologize. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, which shall be published weekly, except for such parts as may in their judgment require secrecy during times of war and only concerning military operations or national security. The yeas and nays of the individuals of either house on any question shall, at a desire of 50% of those present, be entered on the journal, and all major votes on legislation shall be recorded and published. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Emergency sessions may be called by either house during adjournments, and each house must inform the other of any intended adjournment for a period of more than 1 week, requiring mutual agreement. Section 7. The senators and representatives shall receive compensation for their services, which shall be determined by law and paid out of the Treasury of the Commonwealth of America. Their compensation shall not exceed 50% above the average median income of the middle class in their respective commonwealths. Compensation shall be reviewed biannually by an independent economic board with adjustments made in accordance with inflation and cost of living changes. Senators and representatives shall be immune from arrest during their attendance at sessions of their respective houses, as well as when traveling to and from such sessions, except in cases of treason, felony, or breach of the peace. Immunity from arrest shall apply solely to actions taken in the course of their legislative duties. For speech or debate in either house, no senator or representative shall be questioned in any other place except when such speech violates established laws or the Constitution. No senator or representative shall, during their elected term, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the Commonwealth of America or their respective commonwealths if such office was created or as emoluments increased during their term. Furthermore, no individual holding any office under the Commonwealth of America or any commonwealth shall serve as a member of either house while holding such office. No legislature may accept any private or governmental appointments or contracts that would financially benefit them or their immediate family during their term. And no former legislature shall engage in lobbying activities or roles of undue influence over legislative decisions for 10 years following the conclusion of their term. Representatives and senators shall be accountable to the sovereign people of their commonwealths. The recall process may be initiated if deemed necessary by the people. The regular public forums shall be held to foster transparency and direct accountability. Section 8. All bills for raising tariffs shall originate in the House of Representatives. The Senate may propose amendments or concur with the House of Representatives, but final approval shall require a majority vote from both houses. No bill or amendment shall be introduced or ratified unless it is in harmony with common law. New amendments shall require the approval of 80% of the Commonwealth, which must be ratified within 14 months of the proposal by Congress. Every bill that passes both houses shall, before becoming a law, be presented to the Superior House of Common Law for review to ensure that it is conforming to common law before being presented to the President of the Commonwealth of America. And if he approves, he shall sign it. If he does not approve, he shall return it with his objections to the House where it originated. The House shall enter the objections into their journal. Sincere apologies for that. The House will enter the objections into their journal and reconsider the bill. If after reconsideration 2/3 of that House agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent with the objections to the other House, which shall also reconsider it. If 2/3 of that House agree to pass the bill, it shall become the law. The votes of both Houses shall be determined by yeas and nays and entered into the journal of each House. These records shall be made publicly accessible, including publication on official government platforms, within 72 hours of the vote. If the President does not return any bill within 10 days, Sundays accepted, after it has been presented to him, it shall become law as if he had signed it, unless Congress adjourns, preventing its return. In such cases, the bill shall be held in abeyance until Congress reconvenes, at which point it shall be resubmitted to the President for reconsideration. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and the House of Representatives is necessary, except those related to adjournment, shall be presented to the President for approval. If disapproved, it may be repassed by 2/3 of both Houses following the same procedures prescribed for bills. No adjournment shall exceed 3 days without mutual consent of both Houses. Section 9. The Congress of each Commonwealth shall have the power to collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of their Commonwealth and for the Commonwealth of America. All duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the Commonwealth of America. However, no additional taxes or imposts may be levied without the express approval of at least 80% of the Commonwealth. To borrow money on the credit of the Commonwealth of America, provided it is for emergencies or infrastructural projects, and only with the approval of 80% of the Commonwealth. Such borrowing must be accompanied by a clear repayment plan and shall not exceed a reasonable debt-to-revenue ratio as agreed upon by Congress. To regulate commerce with foreign nations and to perform necessary regulations to the Commonwealth concerning inter-Commonwealth commerce. Each Commonwealth shall retain the power to accept or modify these regulations according to their individual needs while ensuring overall consistency for trade between Commonwealths. To propose a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the Commonwealth, provided such rules respect the rights of individual Commonwealths to establish additional qualifications or laws as long as they do not contradict the principles of this Constitution. To coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and establish a central monetary treasury in collaboration with the Commonwealth to ensure monetary stability. The punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the Commonwealth of America shall be uniform across all Commonwealths. Section 10. The migration of individuals as deemed appropriate shall be regulated by each Commonwealth as they see fit. The central government shall not prohibit such migration policies, except where such policies conflict with the rights guaranteed by this Constitution or fundamental individual rights. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed by the Commonwealth or the central government. These protections apply uniformly across all jurisdictions, ensuring that no individual is subject to retroactive punishment or targeted legal actions. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid. No tax or duty shall be imposed on articles exported from any commonwealth. No preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one commonwealth over those of another, and no vessels bound to or from one commonwealth shall be required to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. All such regulations shall be subject to regular review by an independent body to ensure fairness and transparency. No money shall be drawn from the treasury of any commonwealth or the commonwealths of America, except as appropriated by common law. A regular and transparent statement of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published quarterly and subject to independent audit to ensure full accountability to the sovereign people of the Commonwealth. No title of nobility shall be granted by any of the Commonwealths or the Commonwealths of America. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the express consent of the Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, foreign country, or nation state. Violations of this provision shall result in immediate removal from office and investigation for potential conflicts of interest. Section 10.1. No Commonwealth shall, without the express consent of 80% of the Commonwealth's Congresses and approval from the centralized government, enter into treaty, alliance, federation, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, or admit bills of credit. Any actions related to foreign affairs or defense must align with the central objectives of the Commonwealth of America. No Commonwealth shall make anything but gold, silver, and those assets deemed necessary the officially sanctioned currency of the Commonwealth of America, a tender in payment of debts, ensuring a uniform system of currency across all commonwealths. Okay, no commonwealth shall lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws. The net proceeds of all duties and imposts laid by any commonwealth shall be split with 10% transferred to the treasury of the Commonwealth of America. All such inspection laws shall be subject to regular review by an independent body to ensure they are necessary and not used to circumvent federal authority. Any changes or additional laws must be approved by 80% of the Commonwealth Congresses. No Commonwealth shall, without the consent of 80% of the Commonwealth Congresses and approval of the centralized government, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops, or ships of war in time of peace, except for those deemed necessary for immediate local defense or response to emergencies as authorized by common law. Any agreements or compacts with other commonwealths or foreign powers must also receive similar approval, ensuring that local defense efforts do not undermine the confederal unity. No commonwealth shall engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. In such cases, the Commonwealth shall immediately notify the central government and seek retrospective approval for any military actions taken. This ensures that urgent defense actions can be taken without undermining national defense strategies. Section 11. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, representatives shall be under oath or affirmation. Okay, the executive, Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the United League for the Commonwealth of America. The President shall hold office for 4 years, along with the Vice President. Each Commonwealth shall appoint electors equal to the total number of senators and representatives it has in Congress. No senator, representative, or individual holding an office or trust or profit under the Commonwealth of America may serve as an elector. Electors shall meet in their respective commonwealths and vote by ballot for the president and his chosen vice president, one of whom must be from outside their commonwealth. They will certify the results and send them to the president of the Senate, who will open the votes in the presence of both houses of Congress. The individual with the highest number of votes, if a majority of all electors, shall be the president, and his chosen vice president shall be the vice president. Congress may determine the time of choosing electors and the day they cast their votes, which shall be uniform across the Commonwealth of America. No individual except a natural-born sovereign of the Commonwealth of America who is at least 35 years old and has lived within any of the Commonwealths for 14 years shall be eligible for the office of president. In the event of a president's removal, death, resignation, or inability to perform the duties of office, those powers shall transfer to the vice president. Congress may pass a law with at least 80% approval to designate an acting president in the event both the president and vice president are unable to serve until a new president is elected or a disability is resolved. The president shall receive a compensation equal to twice the national average income. The vice president shall receive compensation equal to 1.5 times the national average, which cannot be increased or decreased during their term. The president and the vice president shall not receive any other emolument from the Commonwealth of America or from any individual commonwealth or any foreign power whatsoever during their period in office. Section 2. The president shall be the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces during times of war. He or she shall have the power to make treaties with the advice and consent of the Senate and appoint officials as necessary for the administration of laws. In times of peace, the president may act in an advisory capacity to military leadership, but shall not exercise direct command unless war is formally declared or an invasion occurs. The president may request written opinions from the principal officers of each executive department on matters related to their official duties. The president shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the Commonwealth of America, except in cases of impeachment. With the advice and consent of 2/3 of the Senate, the president shall have the authority to negotiate and make treaties. The president shall also nominate, with the Senate's approval, appoint ambassadors, public ministers, consuls, arbiters of the Superior House of Common Law, and all other officers of the Commonwealth of America whose appointments are not otherwise specified in this Constitution and are established by common law. However, Congress may, by common law, allow the appointment of certain inferior officers to be made by the president, houses of common law, or the department heads. The president shall have the authority to fill any vacancies that occur during the Senate's recess by granting temporary commissions. These appointments shall expire at the conclusion of the Senate's next session unless formally confirmed by the Senate. Section 3. The president shall, from time to time, give to Congress information on the state of the League and recommend measures as deemed necessary. On extraordinary occasions, the President may convene both houses of Congress or either of them. In case of disagreement between the houses regarding the time of adjournment, the President may set the adjournment time, but only after consulting both houses and providing sufficient justification for his decision. I'll take a break. Be right back. The President shall have the authority to receive ambassadors and other public ministers from foreign nations on behalf of the Commonwealth of America. He shall ensure that the common laws are faithfully executed with oversight from the judicial and legislative branches, and shall commission all officers of the Commonwealth in America as mandated by the centralized Republican government, provided such appointments comply with the Constitution and common laws. Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United League shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes. Impeachment proceedings may be initiated by the House of Representatives with a trial and judgment rendered by the Senate. A convention shall require a concurrence of 2/3 of the senators present. This standard of impeachment applies equally to all commonwealths within the League. Governors, deputy governors, and all civil officers of the Commonwealth shall also be removed from office upon impeachment and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Each Commonwealth's legislator may prescribe specific procedures for initiating and conducting impeachment proceedings, provided they comply with the constitutional requirements of due process and equal protection under the law. For all cases of impeachment, the removal from office is limited to the expulsion of the offending officer from their official position and disqualification from holding any future public office of honor, trust, or profit within the Commonwealth of America. Any party convicted by impeachment shall remain subject to prosecution, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Each Commonwealth retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence, along with every power, jurisdiction, and right not expressly delegated to the Commonwealths of America and Congress assembled. These retained powers include, but are not limited to, control over local law enforcement, economic policy, internal governance, and public services. Powers delegated to the centralized Republican government are limited to matters of defense, foreign policy, inter-commonwealth commerce as expressly outlined in this Constitution. In cases where dispute arises regarding the extent of powers retained by the Commonwealth versus those delegated to the centralized government, such disputes shall be resolved by the Superior House of Common Law, which will have the authority to interpret and apply this Constitution in alignment with the principles of the Confederation. Excuse me. Each Commonwealth shall exercise full authority over its internal governance, taxation, law enforcement, and public services, provided such laws do not contradict the foundational principles of the Confederation as established by this Constitution and the common law. Each Commonwealth shall also maintain the right to innovate, develop, and implement policies that reflect the will of its people while ensuring accountability through a democratic process. Any amendments to the powers delegated to the Commonwealth of America and Congress assembled shall require the approval of no less than 80% of the Commonwealth, ensuring that any expansion or contraction of centralized authority reflects the collective will of the Confederation. Okay, the Judiciary, Article 3, Section 1. The judicial power of the United League shall be invested in one Superior House of Common Law, which shall serve as the highest arbitration of appeal for constitutional matters and disputes between commonwealths, and in inferior houses of common law, as Congress may from time to time recommend. with authority over civil and criminal matters as prescribed by common law. The Superior House shall have 9 arbitrators, appointed by the President and confirmed by a majority vote of the Senate, who shall serve until the age of 80. They must retire before the age of 81. Each Commonwealth shall establish its own Superior House of Law, with authority over matters internal to that Commonwealth, with the Governor appointed panel of 5 arbitrators, confirmed by each Commonwealth Senate. While the centralized Superior House of Common Law shall retain final authority in cases involving constitutional interpretation. Apologies. Inter-Commonwealth disputes or matters involving the Commonwealths of America as a whole. Section 2. The Superior House of Common Law shall have jurisdiction in all cases arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United League, and treaties made under its authority. Section 3. Treason against the Commonwealth of America shall consist only in engaging in armed insurrection or rebellion against the Commonwealth, or in knowingly and willfully providing substantial aid, information, or resources to foreign powers or groups designated as enemies during a time of declared war. Acts of protest or dissent, unless directly tied to violent insurrection or espionage, shall not be construed as treasonous. No individual accused of treason shall be deprived of a presumption of innocence and shall be guaranteed the right to a fair and impartial trial. The accused shall have the right to confront witnesses against them and present evidence in their defense. Testimony from at least 2 witnesses to the same overt act of treason shall be required for conviction unless the full confession is voluntarily in an open house of the common law. The Congress shall have the power to declare the punishment for treason, provided that such punishments are consistent with the principles of justice, proportionality, and moral dignity. No punishment shall involve torture, excessive fines, or imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The punishment of treason shall not result in the punishment of family members or associates of the convicted, nor shall it result in the forfeiture of property beyond the lifetime of the convicted. Treason charges shall not be used as a tool to suppress political dissent, free speech, or freedoms. Accusations of treason must be based on clear and convincing evidence of intent to wage war against the Commonwealth or to provide aid to their declared enemies, and shall be subject to the rigorous judicial review. The Commonwealths and the League, Article 4, Section 1. Full faith and credit shall be given in each Commonwealth to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other Commonwealth. All Commonwealths shall recognize and enforce the public acts, judicial rulings, and records of every other Commonwealth as if they were issued by their own houses of law or legislative bodies. No Commonwealth may refuse to honor these acts or records without compelling reasons that have been adjudicated through the centralized House of Common Law. In the event of disputes between Commonwealths regarding the application or recognition of public acts, records, or judicial proceedings, the Superior House of Common Law shall serve as the final arbiter. Commonwealths must first attempt to resolve the dispute through mutual negotiation or arbitration before escalating to the Superior House. The Congress may, through general common laws or legal laws, only when absolutely needed, suggest guidelines to harmonize the application of full faith and credit among the Commonwealths while allowing for reasonable accommodations when legal systems, or principles conflict. The effect of such acts, records, and proceedings shall be subject to Congress's review to ensure consistent application across all Commonwealths. Commonwealths are encouraged to establish cross-jurisdictional cooperation frameworks to ensure the smooth implementation and enforcement of each other's public acts, records, and judicial proceedings. Congress may facilitate the creation of such agreements to promote uniformity and collaboration across Commonwealth borders. Full faith and credit shall also extend to the digital records and electronic documents, including but not limited to digital contracts, licenses, and judicial orders. The Congress shall establish appropriate technological standards to ensure the integrity, authenticity, and security of digital exchanges between commonwealths. Section 2. Sovereigns of each commonwealth shall be entitled to all the rights, privileges, and immunities of sovereigns in all other commonwealths. A sovereign charged with treason, felony, or other serious crimes in one commonwealth who flees to another shall, upon request of the executive authority of the commonwealth from which he fled, be subject to extradition to the commonwealth having jurisdiction over the crime, provided that due process, including a fair hearing, is guaranteed under the laws of both commonwealths. No individual shall be subject to forced labor or servitude in any commonwealth. Commonwealth shall recognize and respect each other's laws, customs, and judicial decisions, provided such laws do not conflict with the fundamental rights guaranteed under this Constitution. Commonwealths are encouraged to cooperate in law enforcement, judicial matters, and the protection of sovereign rights across their jurisdictions. Section 3. New commonwealths may be admitted into the League by a formal application process to the centralized Congress, subject to approval by at least 80% of the existing commonwealths. The centralized Congress shall establish guidelines to ensure that the principles of this Constitution are upheld. No new commonwealth shall be formed or erected within the boundaries of an existing commonwealth, nor shall any commonwealth be formed by the merger of two or more commonwealths or parts of the commonwealths without the consent of the legislatures of the commonwealths involved and the approval of the centralized Congress. Congress shall have authority to enact laws regarding the management of territories and other properties belonging to the Commonwealths of America, provided these laws respect the sovereignty and rights of the commonwealths and their inhabitants. No part of this Constitution shall be construed to undermine the territorial claims of lawful legal standing of any existing commonwealth. Section 4. The United League guarantees to every commonwealth a republican frame of government and shall protect each against invasion and upon request against domestic violence. Article 5. Amendments. Amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by an 80% majority vote of both houses of Congress and shall be ratified by the legislatures of 80% of the commonwealths. Article 6. Supremacy of this Constitution. This Constitution and the laws of the Commonwealth of America shall be made in pursuance thereof, shall be the highest laws of the land. Article 7. Ratification. The ratification by the conventions of 80% of the Commonwealth shall be sufficient for establishment of this Constitution among those ratifying commonwealths. Amendments. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition shall not be abridged. Amendment 2. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated and well-trained militia necessary to the security of a free commonwealth shall not have its right to keep and bear arms infringed. Each commonwealth shall establish military bases with uniform training standards overseen by each commonwealth, except during times of war when the president shall assume control as commander-in-chief. Amendment 3. No soldier shall be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner. Amendment 4. The right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. Warrants shall only issue upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and shall specify the location and items or individuals to be seized. Amendment 5. No individual shall be held to answer for a capital crime without a grand jury, except in cases of active service during wartime. Nor shall any individual be twice tried for the same offense, held to self-incriminate, or deprived of life, freedom, or property without due process. Amendment 6. In criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of their community, to confront witnesses, obtain evidence in their favor, and have representation. Amendment 7. In suits at common law, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. Amendment 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Involuntary servitude shall not exist except as punishment for crime. Amendment 9. The enumeration of certain rights in the Constitution shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Amendment 10. Powers not delegated to the United League by the Constitution, nor prohibited to the Commonwealths, are reserved to the Commonwealths and the people. Amendment 11. The judicial power of the United League shall not extend to any suit in law or equity against one of the Commonwealths by sovereigns of another Commonwealth. Amendment 12. Oh, excuse me, mouth's getting dry. Amendment 12. Electors shall vote by ballot for president and his chosen vice president, counting votes in Congress. In case of no majority, the House selects the president from the top candidates, with each Commonwealth delegation having one vote. Amendment 13. No individual with foreign titles or allegiances, including membership in foreign associations, shall hold office in the Congress of the Commonwealths or the Congress of the Commonwealths of America. Amendment 14. All individuals born or naturalized in the Commonwealth and subject to their jurisdictions are sovereigns of the Commonwealth. Amendment 15. The right of the sovereigns to vote shall not be denied on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude, and no individual shall be identified by color by any governmental department or agency, thereby ensuring all are equal. Amendment 16. Presidents, vice presidents, senators, and representatives are limited to 12 years total time in office. President and vice presidential terms end on January 20th, while terms of senators and representatives conclude on January 3rd of the designated years. Amendment 17. The vice president shall assume the presidency upon removal, death, or resignation of the president. If the vice presidency is vacant, the president shall nominate a replacement, requiring an 80% affirmative vote from Congress. Amendment 18. The right of sovereigns of the Commonwealth who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged. Amendment 19. Each Commonwealth shall establish a committee of sovereigns to perform various functions, including filling in when the central government adjourns for 7 or more days. The committee shall consist of 6 randomly selected volunteers serving 1-year terms. Each Commonwealth may prescribe additional duties as may be deemed appropriate. Amendment 20. The Superior House of Common Law shall have 9 arbitrators appointed by the President and confirmed by the majority vote of the Senate. Excuse me, apologies. Each Commonwealth shall also establish a Superior House of Common Law. The governor shall appoint 5 arbitrators confirmed by a majority vote of the Commonwealth Senate. Each Superior House of Common Law shall work closely with the Superior House of Law established by the centralized government. Amendment 2021. Upon ratification of this Constitution, all current federal departments, agencies shall be ended and made null and void within 120 days. Each Commonwealth shall determine which, if any, of the prior agencies are necessary, and may establish such agencies within their Commonwealth by common law. Amendment 22. Each Commonwealth shall determine which, if any, prior federal departments they wish to establish under their jurisdiction. Section 1. All new departments must align with Commonwealth principles and the values of the Commonwealth of America. Section 2. The creation of any department shall require approval of both houses of the Commonwealth Congress with at least an 80% affirmative vote before being forwarded to the governor for approval. Amendment 23. All current intelligence departments and agencies, including but not limited to, and I'm not going to go over all these. I'll leave it up for a second here and you can read them for yourself. Okay, shall be transferred to military oversight. Each branch of the military shall have an Office of Military Office of Intelligence, MOI, on each military base within each of the Commonwealths. Section 1. Each military office of intelligence shall be under the command of the highest ranking military officer within the Commonwealth. Each base office shall prepare and send daily intelligence reports to the Commonwealth Commander's Office. The Commonwealth's officer shall consolidate intelligence reports for delivery to the Governor of the Commonwealth and the Department of Military Coordination within the central government. Section 2. The central government shall establish a Department of Military Coordination consisting of 50 military officers. Officers shall be chosen by the President of the Commonwealth of America, with no two from the same Commonwealth. Appointments must be confirmed by the majority vote of the Senate. The department shall consolidate daily reports from all military offices of intelligence and provide them to the President of the Commonwealth of America. Section 2.1. The central government shall establish a Department of Military Coordination. Well, that's what I just read, so we won't read it again. Guess I forgot to take that one out. Apologies. Section 3. No Commonwealth shall establish or maintain any independent department or agency of intelligence. All responsibilities related to intelligence gathering, analysis, and dissemination shall be the exclusive responsibility of the military offices of intelligence as governed by this amendment. 24. Each Commonwealth shall establish a Commonwealth Bureau of Investigation, CBI, operating under common law principles. Section 1. Each Commonwealth Bureau of Investigation shall assist local law enforcement, including counties, boroughs, parishes, municipalities, when requested by sheriffs or law officers. 2. Coordinate investigations with other Commonwealth Bureaus of Investigation as necessary or when requested. Section 2. Each Commonwealth shall establish an independent oversight body to ensure the Commonwealth Bureau of Investigation operates in compliance with common law principles and maintains transparency and accountability to the sovereign people. Amendment 25. Oversight committees. Congress may establish oversight committees for centralized departments with 80% of the several commonwealths determining that such centralized oversight committees are absolutely necessary. If such is approved, they shall be created within common law. Each committee shall consist of one representative from each commonwealth, chosen by their respective legislatures for a term of 3 years. Members may not serve consecutive terms on the same committee. Duties and responsibilities: review and approve major decisions or actions proposed by their respective departments. Investigate claims of misconduct, corruption, or noncompliance with common law. hold annual public hearings to provide updates on departmental operations and transparency and ensure transparency. Compensation. Members shall receive compensation equal to 30% above the median middle class income of their respective commonwealths. Expenses for official travel and lodging shall be reimbursed. Accountability and reporting. All such departments must submit quarterly reports to their oversight committees, detailing operations, budgets, and compliance with common law. Oversight committees shall publish annual reports for public review. Oh, transparency. All findings, reports, and investigations shall be made publicly available unless classified for reasons of national security. Amendment 26. An independent oversight council shall be established to mediate disputes between oversight committees and centralized departments and to investigate systemic issues in centralized governance. The council shall consist of one representative from each commonwealth serving 6-year terms. Members shall not serve consecutive terms. The council shall issue binding resolutions and provide biannual public reports on its findings and recommendations. Accountability and transparency. Committees shall have authority to approve significant decisions, review operations, and investigate misconduct. Public reporting and hearings shall be conducted annually. In the closing statement, on ratification of this Constitution, all other constitutions and all other remaining amendments and previous documents shall become null and void. As new amendments are needed, they shall start with the number 27 and continue sequentially. Okay, now understand this. This is by in no ways a completed document. If you notice, there were several times in there where I forgot, had things stated more than once. It's going to take someone or those, or maybe a lot of someone who are a lot smarter than me to make any further refinements and changes to this before it is actually going to be made. It could be made workable right as it is right now, but it needs changes. I know that, and I think most of you who are smart enough have already figured that out for yourselves. But in my opinion, my personal opinion here, this is a fantastic starting foundation for revising and getting a government that recognizes we the people and all our God-given freedoms. And that's the reason the words in this document, this new constitution, if you will so have it, are all geared toward that outcome, ensuring that we can only be seen as sovereigns with all of our God-given rights. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you who have taken time to watch this. I know it was quite long, and I apologize for that, but sometimes things are longer than what you want them to be, and this is one of those times. But again, thank each and every one of you who have taken precious time out of your day and or evening or night to go through this with me all the way. God bless each and every one of you. Know that each and every one of you are in my prayers, and I do sorely hope that each and every one of you will keep me in your prayers as well. Well, until next time, everyone have an amazing rest of their day.